Continuing on with the mechanics by which we bring experience into our lives. The body vehicles are designed for this purpose, each with their own facility for creating ideas, and as all the body vehicles and life levels are in reality one, as everything is, the body in its entirety is a generator of our experiences, for it is experience or references that we will utilize for recognizing the subtle differences between the life levels and ultimately the true reality of the all is. The mechanics are there and in place, but we are the operator of the machinery, or as we might say, we are the decider. We then must take or accept full responsibility for everything in our lives as this recognition dawns. For nothing can feature in our experience unless we have decided on it. Nothing outside of ourselves can have a bearing on what we must walk through. The decisions that we make, that which we choose, activates our experience creation machinery. All the various elements of the personal self combine to create, and the creations, we may say, are ideas. Effectively then, everything in creation is an idea. In order for something to be, it must have stemmed from an initial idea. It was agreed and acted upon. It was given a focus, and the cause and effect mechanism activated, and the idea made manifest in the experience of all those in agreement to it. Again, we can see that for the idea to be in the experience of individuals, few or many, they must have agreed with the original idea, or it could not be so. We are the decider of our lives and everything we choose to experience. Agreement with other people's ideas will be tantamount to deciding on something, and we then will participate and be involved in the experience that stems from the cause and effect that must follow the inception of any idea. We can see then why we share a collective reality, how the planet we share and the main features of it are experienced by all. We must all be agreeing to and deciding on these features, the various laws of physics that make up our world, how the sky is blue, and you can't fly unless you have wings. In fact, any law that exists, any restriction that the scientists will proclaim a law of physics, is simply that which is agreed to by the majority of the individuals. And cause and effect then has those individuals experiencing the limitation or the law that they have agreed with. we can see that there is in fact no limitation to what is possible anywhere in creation, as it is a reflective bubble, and we may decide upon and choose anything we wish, and once we have done so, we will experience that which we have decided. So, yes, some people can fly or levitate, some people can shapeshift, simply because they have not agreed with such a restriction that prevents them from doing so. Why most people have such routine and seemingly boring and limited lives is due to agreement to this drudgery, and were it not for the presence of the control systems in place by the alien tapliners, there would be far more expression of individual uniqueness. In order to maintain control, it is imperative to ensure that the slaves do not begin to reach and expand upon extreme limitation, that they do not suddenly shapeshift into a cat or something, that they have nothing in their experience that suggests there is more out there than they have considered for millions of lifetimes. If the control system was just physical, then there would be less control over the masses. Yes, they would have the physical bodies locked down. They would, in essence, have the masses agreeing with the notion of slavery, for if they did not, then slavery could not feature in their experience. But they must suppress the sense of what else is possible. They must lock the humans into their literal senses only. It's all very well having the physical body in a cage, but through the imagination one can still reach for possibilities beyond the physical, accessing intuition, and then perhaps real awareness. Someone could be in a prison, yet be the freest person in creation, because they are connecting with and utilizing all aspects of their personal self, not just the emotional and physical. Individuals certainly may well agree with their position as a caged slave, but unlikely to agree, or less so, with other limitations. Every individual has had millions of lifetimes all over creation, dimensions, and worlds, and undoubtedly experienced quite the plethora of existences, skills, and abilities, and all these will be stored in their Akashic causal vehicle files. Naturally, abilities will be picked up along the way. Perhaps, yes, the ability to shapeshift, levitate, translocate, and endless other possibilities. To lock down a species entirely, the controllers can't allow such freedom of individual expression, because as a snowball rolling down a hill, it gathers momentum and more snow. If an individual finds they can fly, what else can they do? And imagine the inspiration this would provide for others. It would begin to fragment anyone's self-convinced contentions as to flying limitations, and logically consideration beyond that. If flying is a possibility, what else can be done? So the control is extensive, locking everyone into their literal personal selves is imperative. Program them from the earliest age in the schooling systems. Continue the programming through the televisions that enforce the school programs, and continually bombard them with subliminal programming via their ethereal body vehicles. This extensive programming then has the physical vehicle contained. And yes, we may not see bars at this moment, but as we are locked into our wage-slave routines that we must pay to be alive, we may as well be sitting in a cage. And it has effectively all our body vehicles contained, for we are locked into a programmed literalism, and thus the aspects of our vehicles that would afford more expansive experience are diminished. Our imaginative faculties, and our accessing intuition and real awareness. The literal box we are placed within is akin to a cage for our experience-generating personal self, and programmed and restricted as it is, we then will be agreeing with mainly what the controllers have decided. To prove that this is so, we have only to look out the window. The world is a reflection of that which the majority are agreeing with, and it is a very limited and increasingly restricted experience. There is a little room for self-expression. A few individuals do break free of the control to an extent, and exercise a little unique experience generating of their own, beyond that which the controllers wish to collectively create. And so there are some individuals who can and do levitate as an example, but far fewer now than in previous eras of human history, because as time passes, the restriction and literal programming becomes ever more intensive. The controllers wish for a world of slaves that are completely controlled and cowed to do nothing else than be a slave, and placed in such a literal box that no consideration beyond the physical life level be made, and so all the programming will be to this end. The ideas that the mass of the peoples agree with must be that of limitation, and in this they have succeeded, as we can see how the world is completely locked down, and 100% human farming. And now, of course, the controllers wish to destroy the planet and bring about a robotic world, killing everything living. and as the experience collectively shared is seemingly going in that direction, the ideas of a destruction nature are being agreed with, and so the world the controllers wish to create or uncreate is unfolding at a rapidly increasing pace.